Okay, here's an update on the Smart 40 triangle tube. I did put in the dry well with the Teflon tape, and even though I only tightened it to less than 20 foot-pounds, as I was putting it in, I could tell there was a problem. And what happened was I cracked the female collar. So it's a major disaster, really. To try to recover, I used a hole saw to cut out some of this plastic, and then I was able to insert a band clamp. The idea is to hold that crack section together so that when I do put in the drywall, I'll be able to get some torque on it. And realizing that it may not work, of course, if it doesn't work and this is toast, I have nothing to lose. So that's one way to look at it. Okay, here is the second attempt. Now I've got the Teflon tape on the threads, just like I did before. But in this case, I also went to the hardware store and selected an O-ring. I didn't get the O-ring replacement kit from Triangle Tube because it'll cost me about $40, and it'll take a couple days to get here. And there's no guarantee that that would solve the problem anyway. So it's not necessarily a perfect O-ring fit, but it's the best I could do, and it seems like it might be okay. So I'm just going to give this another attempt, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I'll hit pause. Okay, I've started putting it in by hand, which I'm going to do, and of course I'm going to put it in very carefully now. Once I get it in snug, I will be able to test it because I'm not using any sort of a sealant that requires any sort of a cure time. Now, honestly, the O-ring, I put it in the slot or the groove or the drywell that it's designed to go in, but when looking down into the threaded section of this tank, honestly, I don't see how that O-ring is going to seal because it only goes up against the threads. And in my experience, O-rings don't work that way, but I'm giving it a try anyway. We'll see what happens. Okay, well, I have snugged it up. I also scraped out some of that insulation that was, because I want to be able to see if it's leaking where the band clamp is. I don't want that to be hidden by the insulation because, of course, that would be a terrible thing to have this leak just drench the inside. It's presumably already had been doing that for some time while it was leaking before the aquastat failed. And it's possible that some type of a crack in the tank might have been why it leaked to begin with. I don't know. There's no way to tell. I didn't feel as though I had over-torqued it, but I obviously did crack it when I went back and looked at the video. It wasn't cracked before I put it in. It might have been weak, but... So I don't really know why it leaked originally. And now, of course, if I can't... now that it has a crack, that'll almost certainly be the reason why I won't be able to get it to seal. Anyway, I'm going to stop the video. I'm not going to try to run it under pressure just yet because, of course, it'll be too depressing if it doesn't work. And if it does leak, I can take all of this out and I can give it another try using some sort of sealants or glues, that type of a thing, rather than this stuff, which is all completely removable. So, okay, that's part 2.